I have a question. When did the worship stop? So, not really a vlog style video today, but I've been reading and thinking about the story in the Bible, and we have to talk about it. I'm over here now. This is my sweat rag. Well, not really a sweat rag. I wet it and like wipe my face. This is my keep me cool rag, by the way, if you were wondering. There's this insane story at the end of Acts chapter 16, and it's a story about two men who are worshiping God and what happens when they genuinely, fervently worship God. And the story goes like this. There's two men named Paul and Silas. And to make a long story short, they cast out, I've been trying to make a long story short. There's not really a way to make this long story short. So there's a lady who's got a fortune telling spirit, like an evil spirit, and it allows her to tell people's fortune. And she's making her masters, quote unquote, a lot of money. It reminds me of like the streets of New Orleans, like where you have the psychics and the fortune tellers and whatnot, and you go and like you give them money and they tell your fortune or read your palm or something like that. So Paul and Silas, they cast out the evil spirit and she can't tell anybody's fortune anymore, and it makes her masters really mad. So they go to the religious leaders, the magistrates. They like drag them in the middle of the city, and they're causing a huge ruckus amongst people. These guys, nobody wants them here, and they're preaching a bunch of stuff that Romans don't have to follow, that's against Roman customs, and like just throw them in jail. And the Bible says that the masses rise up against them, or like a mob rises up against them, and they decide to beat Paul and Silas with rods. And it says after they had received many stripes, like they took rods and beat the crap out of them, it says that they commanded the jailer to like lock them up tight, like throw them in prison, like lock them up and like make sure the doors are shut real tight. Seatbelt. So then you have Paul and Silas who are in prison. They're beaten, probably bleeding. The Bible doesn't say that they're bleeding, but if they beat them and they have many stripes on them, I bet they're bleeding, hurting at best. It says around midnight, Paul and Silas were worshiping God. They were singing praises to God. And it says that all the other prisoners were listening to Paul and Silas worship God. And sometime around midnight, a huge earthquake shakes the very foundations of the prisons to where all of the doors, all the prison doors were open, and all of the shackles or the chains fell off of all the prisoners. Holy cow, what a message there. Like even your worship can help people around you break free. But that's not what I'm talking about today. We're talking about when did the worship stop? And like I so want to stop right there and just talk about, you know, everything that I'm getting too excited. Okay, so keeping on with the story, because of the earthquake, the person who is over all the prisoners, like the jailer, he wakes up. It says he draws his sword because he sees all the doors that are open, and he's about to kill himself because he's figuring all the prisoners are just about to run free. He can't do anything about it, and he's thinking they're probably going to kill me anyway because I just let all the prisoners free. And Paul, seeing this, says, "Hey, don't hurt yourself. It's okay. We're all still here." And the jailer runs to Paul and Silas, understanding what's happening, and he says, "What must I do to be saved?" Paul tells him, "Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and you'll be saved and your family." And that's a little bit of a summary. I feel like that you should just really go read Acts chapter 16 yourself and get the whole totality of the story. But there's just some insane principles that we can get out of that chapter. But one of the biggest things that I want to focus on in this video is, when did the worship stop? I can't tell you how many times in my life that I've had that, and we've all, if you've been in church circles, if you've been in Christian circles, then you've heard the phrase, your worship is a weapon. And I don't disagree with that. I'm not here to knock that. I'm not here to say that that's not true. But I think sometimes we've gotten in a habit of getting into circumstances and situations to where we think, okay, I need to worship. I don't disagree. That's a great habit. But I've noticed in my life, do I worship until my circumstance changes and then stop worshiping because my worship has accomplished what I wanted it to accomplish? Or am I worshiping because God is worthy of my worship no matter what the circumstances are, and the worship just continues to happen no matter if my circumstances change or not? Going back to the story, I think it's just absolute. I'm about to hit a speed bump, so oh, there it is. Oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought. If you're wondering where I'm driving to, I'm actually going to sign up for the gym again. I haven't been to the gym in a long time. I actually canceled my gym membership and I feel like a lazy banana. So I'm about to go sign up for the gym. Just hold that thought. Just watch this. We'll just be like, hey, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. That took me way longer than expected. For you, it was instantaneous, but here's the proof. My little key fob. I did sign up for the gym. But this is what is amazing to me about this story. And I feel like we could just sit here and just dive deeper and deeper and deeper into this story about how long were all the other prisoners there for? They could have been serving years and years and years sentences. And then all of a sudden, there not only are the doors open, but the shackles that they were in, all their chains just fall off. And there was something about the genuineness of these guys' worship that even though the doors were open, even though their shackles fell off, they were in prison. Can you even imagine being in prison for years? You're finally free. You could run out the door, but there was something about the worship of these two men that nobody moved. They just wanted to stay there and see what else was going to happen. They were possibly enamored at what had just happened. And that's another just like rabbit trail that we could run down. I've never worshiped so hard that God was so focused on what I was doing that like it shook the very ground. An earthquake came because of my worship. It's just like the whole story is just mind-boggling. But the thing that is, I feel like is the most, I guess, powerful, and it's almost convicting about this story is that they were not worshiping so their circumstances would change. I gotta get out of this sun. They weren't worshiping so that God would do something for them. They were think about that mindset. Think of how sold out for God. Think about how in love with the person of Jesus that you have to be doing work for him. Remember, the whole reason that they were thrown in prison to begin with is because they were doing God's work. There was this lady who was tormented by, well, she probably didn't know that she was tormented, but if you're possessed, you're tormented. But anyway, they were casting out devils. That's the very reason they were thrown into prison. And before that, they were beaten. And it's like, I find it hard to believe that if I woke up one morning, and if I hope that I would be like this, but if I woke up one morning and I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? And he's like, do the Lord's work. And if you see some demons, like cast them out and all that, I get up and do that. And my reward for that, I get that they'll be rewarded in heaven, but my reward right now for that is not only are you going to jail, you're going to be beaten. Like they're going to beat the crap. That's fun to say. Beat the crap out of them. Like they got the crap beat out of them and then they got thrown in jail. And oh my God, like I would love to say that my attitude would not be this way. But when I look around at Christians, at society, I feel like that the attitudes would be so different today. And I'm not going to count myself out. I'm not going to say I'm holier than thou and my attitude wouldn't be that way. I'd love to strive and I'd love to think that it wouldn't. But there would be so much complaining. There would be so much murmuring and like, oh God, why did this happen to me? And like all of these things. And the fact that not only was that not their heart, not only were they not complaining or anything like that, they were worshiping God. God, you're so good. Like, who knows the songs that there was? I would love to know the songs that they were singing. They were worshiping God. And not only that, God comes through in like a major way, like shows off in a major way, earthquake. And it's like, what are the chances that an earthquake would happen and it would just like loosen the doors and break shackles free? Like it's just, that was just God showing off. And they keep worshiping. And so the moral of the story today, and the question that I want to ask you guys is, when does the worship stop in your life? When does the worship start? Are we worshiping? I don't, no condemnation. I don't worship like I should. But when does the worship start? And then a better question is, when does the worship stop? Do you stop worshiping when you get the answer to your prayer? When your circumstances change and things are like good and you think it like subconsciously somewhere, are you thinking, well, I don't really have to worship like that anymore because God came through? Or do you worship not because you want your circumstances to, like, what's the heart behind your worship? When does the worship stop. I'm doing my best to shoot. Oh my God, I'm doing my best to sweat right now. I can't get away from like the vlog style bounce around video. So that's just what it's gonna be for a while, guys. But be ready. You're gonna see some more and more and more and more content from me. And we're gonna start diving into some Jesus talks. But I love you guys. Launch out into the deep, launch out into the deep things of God. Don't just watch YouTube all late. I can't believe I messed up my own tagline. Don't just watch YouTube all day long. Go hunting, go fishing, go play some video. I don't know. Do something that's not just watching TV all day long, and I'll see you on the next video.